Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Erica Lucas. I don't often do specifically homeschool content related videos, so let me break down for you what I'm going to show you. A what, where, how of homeschool plans for 2021 to 2022 school year, what we use, where we homeschool, and how we do it. And I'm going to share a system with you that created some peace for me in our school day and actually has stopped the nagging and dragging through our school day. This year I have a second grader, a first grader, and a pre-K. And behind me I have a star-colored bin for each child for their individual subjects, which are math and English. And English for us is reading, writing, spelling, phonics, grammar, comprehension. I'm going to start with my second grader. He has two, we'll call them electives, because they're subjects that he's interested in, and so I just double down on those and provide resources. The first one is coding. He does Code Spark. He has a couple of coding games on his iPad, and then he has Scratch Code and Scratch Code Junior that he just plays with whenever he feels like it. It's not a mandated subject. It's not something I task him with. It's just something that falls into the rotation. So it keeps him busy while I'm doing one-on-one with the other two, which is nice. The other one is Spanish. He has been learning Spanish about the last year, and he uses Babbel for that. It's an app. We have a iPad that we have for school. It's just strictly saved for school time, and Babbel is on there. And so when I'm doing one-on-one with the other two, he opts for Babbel to learn some Spanish. There's lots of languages that he could choose from. There's lots of things inside of there that can engage him as well, podcasts, games. And I like that it's very real life. It's engaging, it's quick. The lessons are 10 or 15 minutes, so he genuinely feels accomplishment at the end of a lesson. The other thing that I like about it is that it's verbal. He has to say the words back to the microphone in the iPad on some of the lessons. So he is then engaging with the application and reiterating what he's hearing. He's practicing the language itself. So I really enjoy that as part of a way to keep him busy while I'm working with someone else. And it's because it's something he wants to learn. He just told us a year ago he wanted to learn Spanish, and we tried Babbel. There's a link in the description box for you. Thank you to Babbel for sponsoring that segment of the video. You can get 6 months free after purchasing 6 months of Babbel. You get a year of learning for the cost of 6 months. Math, he does a combination of things this year. Usually every year. We are working our way through Beast Academy. It is a program that is a comic book style guide that you read together and then practice pages. They also have an online program that you can use. My son also does Prodigy Math online. And it gives me a report card of how many problems he's solved, areas he's working on, areas he's mastered, areas that he could use help. And it gives you a printable page for them to do additional practice with you on paper at a table or their desk to help strengthen those skills. He also is very engaged in 2 Outschool classes. A Math Superstars Club, the teacher is amazing, and she gives this little group of 5 kids these really hard math problems to solve each week, and they work through them together, and he genuinely enjoys it. Anything that challenges his brain in math, he's obsessed with. And his second Outschool class he's doing is an Algebra class. He's in Algebra 2 now. It is a flex class that is designed for gifted math learners of a young age. It's for 7 to 10-year-olds. So it's not high school level algebra, even though I can't solve some of his homework. I knew I was going to reach a stage in my son's homeschool math career where I was going to need outside help on teaching him skills. He's quite gifted in math, and the algebra stumps me. It stumped me in high school. And anyway, let's move on. Okay, I needed some coffee for this next subject. English Language Arts, second grade, 2021-2022. My son reads at a bit of a higher level, so I am meeting him where he is. I had him take a test from All About Reading, and he was beyond level 4, so it didn't make sense to me to purchase that for him and push him through something he already knows. I took an approach of making sure that he can comprehend a story, spell correctly. Our focus this year for him will be on silent reading, comprehension, vocabulary, word study, and spelling, and a mixture and balance of all of that. So to do that, he has a couple hundred books that he just reads or rereads already in his Kindle, and then I downloaded All About Reading's library checklist for just additional resources. The library had a ton of these. Our library has a ton of these, so I'm happy about that. And then for spelling, we're just doing K-12's spelling list. I printed grade 2 for him just because I saw some words on here that I want to make sure he does know how to spell. You know, any patterns like AI patterns, are controlled words, that kind of thing. I just want to make sure he does actually know how to spell those words, because I'm not teaching him at a 2nd grade level for English language arts. And then he'll just spell in his journal each week. Let me do this a couple different ways. Sometimes I write it out, and then, you know, day 1 I'll be rewriting it over here, and then turn the page and I say the word and he has to spell it. Then we use from Royal Farmworks Press, the Puddle Knows What Michael Clay Thompson series. I have this, the next one, and the one after that up in my teacher closet for him. So we're going to go through this. We're going to do Explode the Code 3. And then I have from Spectrum vocabulary and word study for grade 4. He's done a couple pages out of this already, so I know that it's a good fit for his level. 1st grade, my daughter, she's 6. So for her, we are doing standby. Okay, for some of you who are unfamiliar with All About Learning, this is going to seem like a lot to keep track of. It is a lot to keep track of. However, I find this program to be amazing for my daughter. This program did not work for my son. Every kid needs their own, you got to meet, I meet every kid where they are. I had this program for my son a couple of years ago, and he was bored by it. It didn't do anything for him. My daughter loves it. So I am going to share with you what we use for her for English. So we are using All About Reading Level 1. This is the teacher guide. These are the magnet letters that she uses to spell. There's also an app if you'd like to do it digitally. The cards in here. My pre-K kids cards are also in here. And then this is the activity guide that it comes with. This is her favorite part. What I did was put it in a big old binder, and then I put each activity in its own plastic sleeve, and there's an activity for every lesson, I think. And it just makes it a little more interactive and cements the things that she's learning. She also has a spelling book this year. This is new for her. She actually was spelling with our magnet tile letters, or our magnet letters last year, and she would push the Play-Doh underneath of it with each sound so she could break apart the sounds. She was having a hard time breaking apart the sound of each letter and piecing it back together, exploding the code. I backed off at the end of kindergarten and just said, you know, you're not ready to put these things together, and we're just gonna have a good time with words and books. And that's what we did. And we spent a few months just reading and playing with magnet tiles and letters, practicing sounds, watching phonics videos on YouTube and Netflix and Leapfrog, doing a little bit of Explode the Code because she likes it. And that's it. And and reading eggs. She really liked reading eggs, and it began to piece all together. And now she is looking at a word, decoding a word, putting it back together. She's reading sentences. She's reading small books, her readers. So she's really encouraged and excited, and her confidence has boosted way back up. So this year she's going to have a spelling book, which we're using a list from K-12. I'm going to keep doing Explode the Code 1. She had this last year. You can see we're just going to keep going through that. She really likes this sight words book. It has coloring pages, and she gets a new word, and she really likes that. And then I have for her, I made up word cards for her sight words that she knows, and then we've got blanks for her new ones. And we just play games with this. I might line them up on the table and give her, you know, a bin of Matchbox cars, and she has to drive the car and park it on the card of the word that I said, or one of her brothers will line them up all over the floor, and she has to hop to each card and say the word as she gets it. I might do chalk outside with these and just put them in a box, and she has to match the word so she sees it. But we're just playing with the words. And the more we do that, the more she learns them. So we have a monthly book log for her where she colors in whatever it is for the month. Here's June's. June looks like it's gonna be buckets. And she colors it all in. And each one she reads. And she reads this on her own. She reads it to me. And then I write on the back what it is. And then I put it into her binder. So we'll talk about record keeping for one quick second. I keep a binder all year long by subject. And when they complete a page, I pop it in the back of the binder. We do try to, this year we are trying to keep our books intact rather than ripping it out after each lesson. And we're just gonna keep going through. And then at the end of the year, I'm just gonna pull samples from all of the workbooks that they use to build for the portfolio for Maryland. That's my current plan. Where's her math book? Here it is. For the summer, she's going through kindergarten math with confidence. There's a first grade level as well that she will move right into as soon as she finishes this book. So for her, she's starting first grade, but I really wanted to make sure she had all the foundations of kindergarten math because it's questionable sometimes. She knows it one day and then doesn't know it the next. So she needs a lot of repetition. And so we are going to just review basic single digit addition and subtraction for the summer, some writing, some number recognition. She has good number recognition till about 12, and then it's pretty shaky until the 30s. So we're just reiterating over and over what each number is. Another trick that I've used, it was so enjoyable to watch her do this, but she has an Usborne sticker dolly book. She has 3 of them that were burned through. And she does it every night before bed. And I sit with her and I charge her with finding the page numbers. And then she has to turn to the back of the book and find the stickers for that page. They have the page numbers identified for the stickers at the top and the back. Doing something that she really loves to do, which is stickers and dolly stickers, has just made number recognition so much easier for her. Okay, my youngest son, my pre-K, he also is math-minded and is at a kindergarten level math. So he does a lesson alongside her for the summer. This is a summer review for her and it's new for him. So they do a math lesson together. It takes less than 10 minutes from this. They get out of their chairs or off the bench in the dining room because they have to do like 5 jumping jacks or go find 5 toys that have a pair of wheels or something like that. So it's fun for them. They get to move around and then they just do 1 page and that's it for the math lesson. They both really like that. So, and then I knock them out together. He knows all of his letters and we're working on letter sounds. So for him, I bought the pre-reading, all about reading lesson. I really think it's great for him. I've got it marked where we are. So the teacher guide, and you can just look on YouTube for flip throughs of these things, but it gives you the cards you're gonna use, games you're gonna play, and then he has a activity book. And I didn't put his in sleeves because his is actually consumable, where he colors the page, that kind of thing, and then we go around and in the house, like if we're doing the letter D, we go on a D hunt around the house, and he's got to bring me 3 things from a treasure hunt in the house that start with the letter D. He genuinely likes to sit at the table and do worksheets. It's his jam. He is the only one of my 3 kids that is into that. Like asks for it even on non-school days is what I mean. And so for him, I got ready for the code A. It's like a coloring book for him, but he just goes through and does each of the pages. And he likes that. So it's just reiterative letter sounds and practice. I think the thing he loves the most is that it's like one-on-one with me, and it's his school time. It's very special. In the state of Maryland, we are required to hit 8 subjects. And so I try to do science, social studies, art and music, and Bible together. Bible is not mandated by the state of Maryland. It is part of our umbrella that we use. Family subjects. Okay. Just something for my fidgeters who need something in their hands while we're doing a family lesson where they're meant to be sitting and listening to a read aloud or participating in a conversation, something like that. My oldest specifically really needs this. I got way too much stuff in here. Okay. This is my cheat sheet. It's meant to be sort of my mental vision of a perfect homeschool day. It's never gone this way. This guide helps me make sure we hit the subjects we need to do on a weekly and monthly basis. And so I've got one for each day. We school Monday through Thursday, and we save Fridays for nature days, field trips, family visits, catch-up days where maybe we took a Tuesday off and we just need an extra day to make up for the work, that kind of thing. So our day starts with the family subjects. I usually leave this on the floor in the corner and pull out the things I need for each day. So every day we do the Pledge of Allegiance, where they hold the flag, and we practice the Pledge of Allegiance. We review our address and our phone number, do calendar, where they put a sticker on each day, and we sing days of the week, months of the year. That is more for the benefit of my younger two, although it helps my older one remember the order of the months. We do handwriting, which really falls into language arts, but I have them all do it together, one page. They each have their own book, and it's like a quiet 5 minutes. And then Mondays we do science and art. Tuesdays we do music and social studies. Wednesdays we do health and science. And Thursdays we do social studies and Bible. So let's look at those. Last year I did my big book of 5-minute devotions. We did this 3 times last year. I love this thing. The Megan at Pennies and Salt shared it, and I checked it out, and we love this book. It's a really great way to introduce Bible to your children and keep it simple and interactive, conversational. So we have the scripture, and it says, what does God say? And we talk about that. And sometimes I have them write that in their Bible journals. And then I read aloud the section and ask the questions. And it's a really great moment. It takes us about 15 minutes because we do journal with it. They each have their own journals. And what is this? This is Rebecca's. This is probably the best example because she's super into it. And then they just draw whatever the discussion made them feel. And I put no judgments, I put no boundaries or expectations or rules or instructions. I just asked them to draw what the Bible verse made them feel. And then we talk about it if they want. So we're gonna keep doing our Bible journal. I kept this in here to show you because this year we're gonna switch to Mommy and Me 3-minute devotions. We're gonna give this guy a try. Has a verse at the top, a talk about it, a read about it, and a pray about it. I thought that was just lovely. So we're gonna do that. And then last year I charged my oldest with finding the verse in the Bible. And I bought him the student Bible. And this one I thought would be more fun for him. It's the illustrated Bible for kids. I thought this would be more fun for him. My daughter's still I can look it up with her, but I can't ask her to find it. She can't read those words yet. And I think it would be too overwhelming for her, and I don't want to turn her off to the activity. So I'll ask my plan is to ask my 2nd grader to look it up and show everybody else where we can find that verse in the Bible. And the illustrated kids Bible, it's lovely. color illustrated. I mean, it's quite lovely. All right, that's Bible. What else do I have in here? Okay. Our read aloud, our read alouds for the summer are going to be Zoe and Sassafras. I own all of them. We did not read them last year like I wanted, so I made them a priority this year. And then I have just like coloring sheets or things that they can do with their hands while I'm reading aloud. Art. I got this I bought this used off of Amazon. It was in great condition. It was $6. I actually bought 4 different books from the series. And then what I did was sit down and plan out a unit study for the book. So this one we're starting with is Get Into Art, Animals. And I created a 10-week unit study from this one book. And then mapped out what we're going to do every week from this book. I also added in geography and history as part of our art study as a way to hit those subjects for my kindergartner or for my first grader and my second grader. So we have a big map that I'm going to put onto the wall, and each week we are going to study the page, the piece of art. Okay, it tells us the year that it was made and where it was made. So each week we're going to find where the artist made the piece of art on the globe and pin it onto our map. And then my second grader and my first grader are going to build a timeline on a big easel rollout where we're going to plot the years. And each time we talk about this, I'm going to print out or photocopy this into a small, like little square version. And we're going, okay, calm down, Buck. And we're going to plot a timeline of all the different pieces of art here. So it's going to tell a historical story of all the pieces of art that were made in this book. In addition to each discussion, there's a flap with an art project. And I made a list. It actually has one in the back for you as well, a list of all the materials you need for the book. I had half of them, so I just made a list of the things I needed to buy, and I bought all of the materials for this and put it in a bin in the teacher closet upstairs so that we don't use up those materials before we get to the unit study. Music. My second grader wants to learn guitar and my first grader wants to learn violin. So I am now researching that in our area, finding a teacher with a schedule that works for their sports schedules. So we're doing that. And then we're going to start with this. This is going to be our summer spine, my first orchestra book. And we're just going to read it and talk about each instrument, maybe watch a YouTube video of that instrument, and that's it. That'll be music. Where did I put social studies? There it is. So we are doing studies weekly. This is second grade. And this is first grade. I opened first grade, so I'm going to have a harder time picking that one up. And this is first grade. I mean, look at the teacher resources. Probably more than I really need, but that's okay. I think this is intended for school systems, which is why the resource stack is quite thick. I mean, it's double-sided, but it does give you like a full breakdown on each of these. So this is, look at this. It's just for first grade. It's one article, but there's like 2 pages in the teacher resource dedicated to teaching community, which is awesome. There's videos, there's print, anyway. And then it has you read responsibilities the next day. I will probably not do it that way because we do social studies twice a week. So what I will probably do is we'll look at this together. My daughter and I will look at this together. I will have already kind of checked out the teacher resources in advance and see if anything I want to add in that probably would appeal to her. And then on day 2, we'll do the activity. I will probably photocopy this so she can use it. And then I can use this again with my younger son, second grade. And because he can read, I will probably charge him with reading the article independently and then using the teacher resources to have a discussion and then do the activities together. Science, I ordered Studies Weekly Science. It has not come to me at the point of filming this video, and we will do experiments. We always do experiments. We always make messes with experiments. And what I did was gathered read-alouds from in the house that go along with the social studies units that we're talking about. We are good citizens. I'm a citizen. I am a good citizen. What are rules and laws? Star Spangled Banner. Why do we have to be on time? What if everybody did that? Love this one. And then I have in the back, this is what's making the basket heavy, timelines of everything. My second grader and I basically just sit for like an hour and flip through this thing when we open it up. It's really fantastic. It's got a lot of information in here. It's from DK Smithsonian. So I just use this. This is also going to be what I'm using to teach my first grader what timelines are, and give her examples of what we are building in our art unit studies. I actually am going to need to put this somewhere else. This is what is making the basket so heavy. Let's see what else. Okay, so we have these Sticks and Stones affirmation cards for littles. Instagram has suggested it. I guess they had a promotion or something that they paid for on Instagram. I was like, yes, I need that in my life. So I am grateful. I will express gratitude often today. I am patient. I will wait my turn today. That's so fun. I love that one. There's plenty for everyone, including me. I will practice sharing today. And we just grab one of these and I read it, or my second grader reads it, or I help my first grader read it, and then we repeat it throughout the day. So it's just a character building, reminding everyone, including myself, that patience is a virtue. Okay, so some of these are library books, and some of these are books that we own. The library books are the ones that are for the first couple of weeks in the social studies curriculum that we have going on. So I just have them in here, ready to go. Okay, this is too many things. I just decided to leave the Bible out so that they flip through it on their own. Alrighty, Roo, that was the what. That was a lot. So I wanted to show you all of our resources that I have planned for 2021 and 2022. The where. We mostly, all the materials that I just showed you, we do at our dining room table. If you've been around a while, you know I've played around with that room as a homeschool room with desks. I have played around with desks in their room, homeschooling on the floor. I mean, anything. I just didn't embrace the family table as a place to do school. That's where they always came back to wanting to do it at the table. And I think it speaks to them wanting to be together. And I leaned into it 5 months ago, I leaned into that, and now I've folded pieces of that into our dining room. Our dining room used to have less. It definitely used to be more minimalist. I moved in bookshelves from the playroom and I loaded them up with games and school supplies. We have our art cart in here, and we spend a good bit of time in here. We homeschool Monday through Thursday in the mornings, and it takes most of the mornings, if not into early afternoon, depending on how interested someone is in something and we're doing kind of a rabbit hole deep dive, or if we are just pacing really slow and we had a really long snack time, or we had a really long time playing outside, because we include those as part of our school day. So the where for, handheld paper-related curriculum stuff happens in our dining room. So this year, I have a small stack of things, a list in my head of things that I can ask them to do while I'm doing one-on-one with a kid. So I have Leapfrog DVDs, a set of 10 DVDs that my younger two love. And we have a really old DVD player that Andy unpacked from the basement, and I have it hooked up with headphones on the really plushy rug in our family room. And then while someone is getting one-on-one, while either Jack or Rebecca, my two younger ones, is having a one-on-one with mommy, the other one is watching a DVD of Leapfrog. and it's theirs. They have their headphones, they hit play, it's all set up, and they watch the whole thing. And it's really like 45 minutes watching this tiny little TV screen of a Leapfrog DVD. And then my oldest is doing his independent work. It might be the vocabulary sheet, a word study, or he's doing his silent reading. We homeschool year round. I did not say that yet. We homeschool year round. We are very slowly entering into the grade. Summer, I keep quite light. I focus on math, reading, writing, spelling, science experiments, and some morning read-alouds, which will incorporate art, social studies, music, that kind of thing. There are shorter mornings, definitely in the summertime. We do that not only to give them sort of a break from the workload that the state of Maryland likes to put on homeschool families, but also because it's summer and we spend more time outside. We have a pool, they want to go in it. The reason that we homeschool year round is twofold. One, my oldest requires constant intellectual stimulation. If I took 3 months off for him, the 3 weeks that we took off, he read 30 books on his Kindle. He watched his math playlist, his science playlist. He did his math book all by himself. He did his vocabulary books all by himself. He just does school naturally. It's just part of who he is. He loves the brain challenge. He also did math club and algebra club all during our break. So for him, he always is requiring that. And for my daughter, my first grader now, she would definitely slide backwards without constant education at this point. And by education, I mean review. We're reviewing letter sounds, we're doing number recognition, real fun, basic kindergarten stuff that we're just extending into her summer for her to really give her that foundation and that practice she needs to roll into some first grade material. And my pre-K just tags along. He has never known us not doing school. He's 4. School has always been a part for him. He's always been a part of our school. Now for him, if he doesn't want to sit through a social studies read aloud, I don't make him do that. If he wants to go run off and play Legos, that's fine. He's 4. He doesn't need to learn a first grade social studies curriculum. But for him, I do focus on math and letters and number recognition. And we do it in fun ways with videos and games. We play a lot of board games. I will say we are game schoolers. I'm not including that here. We have a lot of games that we just include in our day. And I guess we could talk about the how part of our day. I have these dollar store little books. Everybody has their own color in our school. I just write for the day what my expectations are for school. They do it, they check the box, and that's it. And I do this usually the morning of, or at the end of the school day. If I've got a little window of time, I'll write what maybe we'll do the next day. The thing that they look for in the morning, they find, we call it the school sheet, and they look. My daughter needs some help knowing what I've written. My pre-K needs some help knowing what I've written. And ideally, I've written them to match what I think the flow for the day would be. So while I'm doing one-on-one with my pre-K son, my oldest is doing silent reading. And so I've got silent reading on the first one for him. Anyway, that's what we use to keep track of what we're doing. At the end of the year, these go into recycling. We don't need them for proof in Maryland. We don't need to document the number of days or hours. We don't need to tally what we do each day or how many times we hit a subject. We just have to show progression and continued regular learning. And we do that we demonstrate that through photographs and worksheets. So this is just for me and the kids to know what we're doing each day. The basic flow of our day is family subjects, whatever we need to hit for that day, then individual subjects. And I go pre-K, first grade, second grade. And that's just how the flow goes through the day. My challenge this year is to make sure my other 2 kids are engaged in school-mindedness while I'm doing one-on-ones. The one-on-one portion takes about 2 hours at this stage of our homeschool life. and the family subjects take about an hour. Many times on art days, my daughter runs way over on art and I might skip her, do second grade, and come back and do first grade for her because she just likes all the extra time she can have for art class. So also for art class for her, I bought a subscription to Lily and Thistle, the watercolor club. She's obsessed with this. And I actually sit down and do every lesson with her. I find it extremely therapeutic and fun. We have made seashells, we have made squirrels, dandelions, and each art lesson, I mean, she and I spend 45 minutes to an hour, and we watch it on the school iPad, and you can hit pause and catch up to the teacher. Hannah, she's fantastic. I really adore that for her. My daughter's very creative and art-minded, so anything related to, or anything that facilitates her art outlet, she is just all for. That was the what, the where, and the how. Let's talk about a system that gave me some peace in our day, in our homeschool day, but also our entire day. It's the bucket system from Sage. I felt like I was nagging and dragging my kids through the day. Brush your teeth, make your bed, get dressed. I don't know why that one is such a hurdle for my children. Well, my boys. My daughter will get dressed all day long, over and over. And then dragging them to the table, let's get some school done for a little bit, and then we'll go outside, we'll go for a walk, that kind of thing. I felt like the first section of the day, the first like 4 to 6 hours of the day, I was dragging them. This is our bucket tray. It lives in our family room. The kids are not allowed to wander with their buckets. When they wander with their buckets, we lose clothespins. So it now lives on the tray and lives in our family room. Each kid has their own bucket, and then we have a house bucket. We don't do them on the weekends, and we don't necessarily do them every day, and it's their choice. If they don't want to do their bucket for the day, they don't have to. It's a very flexible program. If they complete their bucket, they're eligible for 1 hour of iPad time, and the iPads are preloaded with everything I know what's on there. There's learning games, there's Minecraft, and YouTube video playlists that are pre-approved. And they get an hour. So if they finish their bucket on time, they get that. If they need till 2:15, then they get 45 minutes of iPad time. System works great. There's no more nagging and dragging them throughout the day. It gives me an hour of quiet while they're on their iPads, which is like a necessary downtime for the day. And then the rest of the day is for sports, playing outside, dinner, bedtime, that kind of thing. So the flow of the day has been way more peaceful for all of us. And I don't have to say, did you make your bed? Did you make your bed? Should you make your bed? Did you make your bed? Is your bed made? Did you brush your teeth? Did you brush your teeth? Are your teeth brushed? Did you brush your teeth? I don't do that anymore. Is your bucket done? Okay. That's it. And it's way more peaceful. They have ownership of their buckets. They decided what was on the clip, so it really works for them. This is a long video. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time so much. Thank you for watching. Would love a like below if you can, and subscribe if you want more videos. I typically do videos about minimalism, decluttering, and organizing, and occasionally, a couple times a year, I do a homeschool video. Thank you for watching.